All right, well, I propose, it's a beautiful day, we go ahead and we get started a minute early. I don't think anyone's gonna mind. So just jump right in. Has everyone had a chance to look at last month's minutes? Is that a motion? To approve that? Joel?
Yeah.
I will second.
Greg?
Greg will second.
All in favor of approving last month's minutes? Aye. Any opposed? All right, they passed. Beautiful. Let's move on to the director's report.
Well, good evening. It's been an eventful.
I was only gonna note, we also had technically executive session minutes
Oh, yes, okay.
to approve. Again, they can't contain much,
Yeah,
but I think they technically should be approved.
Separately, okay.
Or, yeah.
Is that a motion to approve?
I would also move that we approve the executive session meeting minutes
March
for the meeting. Was that? March 2nd. Great was May 14th.
I thought he
Okay.
was saying March 2nd.
No, he said March 2nd.
March 2nd, yep. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Beautiful, okay, executive session is also approved. Now we can go on to the director's report.
okay, so May was very eventful. Started off with several of us on staff going to Allen County Public Library for a regional conference put on by the Indiana Library Federation. Great day of interacting with peers and learning and about stress management and marketing and just a lot of good takeaways from the day. So it was I always think it's important for staff to get out and do those trainings and stuff like that. So it was a good day. Strategic plan is expiring, so we will be jumping in here the next few weeks with working on that and starting to work on that and revamp it and get our new strategic plan in place. My staff and I will work on getting a draft, and then we'll bring drafts to the board and then edits and stuff like that before finally approving the final plan. So that's my plan of action. If there's any other suggestions or requests from the board to take into consideration, I welcome those. Yeah.
I just had a question when I read the strategic plan and seeing how I'm a newbie here. Is that the way it's usually done? Or does the board work on the strategic plan?
This is my first time doing a full library strategic plan. So this was my thought of approach. I don't know what it's done in the past. So Greg.
My understanding is we usually would have a board member or two that sort of actively participated in it. I don't remember recently having the whole board participate a lot. Usually would have a board member or two and they would come back and sort of report. So I think it's a good idea to have them.
Approve too. Yeah. I feel like I've only been through one strategic review, but I thought we approved it at the end.
I think that's ultimately what would happen, yes.
And is there a preliminary process to review the whole strategic plan and see how well we did?
Yeah, I mean, that would be our starting point, would be looking at the current plan and see how we did and evaluating that and then what needs to be updated or continued or dates moved or adjusted, that type of thing.
Okay.
And what is this due by? Is it this year?
End of the year.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there is
Yeah.
this is more for us.
Yeah, a lot of it's for us. I mean, for state standards, we have to have they ask you have a plan on file and when does it expire? Ours expires this year, so
Okay.
as long as we have it before next time I have to report, we'll be good.
Alright.
There's still time to get our wetland stuff done.
That was on the old one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So are there any board members that would like to be part of that? If you don't have to commit now, just let me know if you.
Okay.
I'm happy to see if people are.
Okay.
Well, like checking out a bit.
I was pointing, I wasn't.
Very good.
Wow, delegation.
Well, I still, they both had interest in it.
I did, way to go. So do we have to make a motion to put them on, or do we?
I don't
Okay,
think so.
good.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let me ask. So I was gonna go ahead and do
Lock them
it.
in. Lock them in.
Let him get excited.
There's.
Oh. Like minis.
Good idea for the guy.
Oh, strong things there. All right, moving right along.
Linda and I both participated in this DLGF and SBOA's budget workshop for libraries, public libraries specifically, that Indiana State Library hosts every year. And they just go over reminders and updates. I was hoping for a lot more structure and understanding of the new laws and legislation and what could be affected. And they're still figuring things out themselves. And so from everything I've heard, this year is as normal as far as budgeting and that process. And it'll be next year so that we'll see different changes in calculations and stuff like that. So this year's, we're going forward with budgeting as normal. So any questions?
Did they give any indication on when I have that clarity? Because our budget week once it starts. How it happens, right?
Yeah, they said just go forward with
Do exactly.
exactly as we have been. There is I want to say mid-July, like the 11th and 12th. There's a workshop down in Anderson for public libraries directors, and I am going to that. And we will have basically a budget done that day for a review, and then so I can then come back with the draft and go from there. But most of it should be done mid-July to start the other process of reviewing and approving and that stuff. So, any other questions? Whitley County Public Health Coalition is starting, and I was invited to participate with along with South Whitley. Director was also there, public library was also there. We had a brainstorming meeting, just a introduction to the process, wanting to tackle, they want, Community Foundation wants to really address and tackle mental health in the county. And so they're starting that process, and they've invited us to be part of that conversation. So
Is a large part of that concern with youth?
yes,
Because I know we've had
yeah,
a fair number of suicides.
yeah, not just with youth, but there was definitely a focus on youth and the needs, and the health, mental health professionals are seeing younger and younger issues with patients and stuff. And so finding ways to address that and how we fit in that, we will find out. So I see note cards and comments from the community frequently, and I thought it'd be nice to share some of those. So
The nice ones, I mean.
they are nice.
Only great news.
We've been addressing a lot of that so nice
Yeah.
lately.
So those don't
We'll
come,
take a win.
those don't come in the comment card section. They come talk directly to people. But I think the most negative comment card I've gotten was more books. They just want more books, which is not a bad thing. I mean, so, but I just thought that'd be a nice thing to share with everyone. Since I see it, it'd be nice if you guys to see that as well. I failed to mention this when I was talking about the regional conference. Kelsey and Emily did present one of the sessions for other librarians. Well, it was neither one of them had presented at a conference before, so it was good for them to get there.
And are they gonna do it at the state then too?
They were invited to a state, the intent is to do it remotely, so it'll be one where so people all over the state will be able to remote in and watch the session. So it's really nice, and it's good for them, and it's good for the library to promote what we do here. So things are going well upstairs, and throughout the library. We did make the change with Hoopla. A couple questions, but no real,
It's the way that they did that, in part that they've sort of, I guess, maybe the throttled some of the ability to check out
Yeah,
the number. I mean, it's reduced the variety,
yeah,
the more expensive titles,
yeah,
right?
we adjusted the.
And that's something you can't see. It just limits them. All of a sudden, they're just not gonna be there.
Yeah, and we did make a huge adjustment on that, just a little bit, and then we, reduced the total number for a month, but, haven't had a lot of comments or questions about it, less than we were expecting. So that's actually, gone well. Hopefully we start seeing that stabilize in our, budget line as well going forward. Some of you probably saw, adult service, Dara especially was out just a little bit ago working on our garden and getting that going, and so we'll do a lot of stuff out there.
Is there a reason why we didn't limit some of the other categories on Hoopla, like
I
television?
assume these were the more expensive ones.
I don't know.
Is that
Is there-
correct, or? I was reading at the top of page 7.
Yeah, on page 7, where you show how much the audiobooks and the movies that we reduced by. I just wondered, why didn't we reduce some of the other categories also?
It's cost. I mean, they're already at a comparable level already. Okay, it's for cost, yeah. We have a new Lego wall upstairs, which is getting lots of use in the children's department. Lots of school visits were done, by Kelsey, which was exciting for the kids and tiring for her.
Yeah.
And especially she learned after the first day to not mention like Minecraft until the end of her.
Yeah, you learned that.
Because they lose. she
That's all
lost-
they want to ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all this other stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Circulation is going well. I've been up there a lot, with vacations and, stuff like that. So I've been up there more than I had in the past, but that's not a bad thing. It's funny. Just today I was up there and, Michaela was sitting next to me, and we were discussing something, and patient comes by and asked her if she was training a new person. So
You said you could.
I'm like, yeah, sure.
Can I put a question? That one, we've got items shipped out to other libraries and I don't know. Or I guess I'll say 50%, I guess. I'm on page 10.
Yeah.
Do we have any understanding of what caused that? Or is everything basically now?
It's just requests. I mean, it just depends on what is being, I mean, we send out what we get requests for, so it just depends on what we have or what's available here and not other places, so.
And these are all physical things, so.
Yeah.
Physical.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna suggest that speaks highly of how well our staff curates
Yeah.
their collection.
Yeah.
Tech services, systems, we've purchased, made one purchase of the laptops for replacement, and the next one is in, so we should be getting those here shortly too. The laptops that were scheduled that we we're gonna do throughout the year, we went ahead and do that. So those, all the staff laptops, staff computers will be updated probably by the mid-July, which is ahead of schedule, but it's a good thing.
I saw the CW line item for that. Is that all of the laptops or will we have another CW order next month? You know?
I think we have one more, because I think the last bulk order was just after June
Okay.
1st. So I think it's,
That makes sense. It looked a little low to cover everybody.
yeah, it'll be about the same amount next month, so. Also, I don't know if it made it into this, the server that was controlled our cameras had to be replaced. And it was older and it died on us basically. kept being an error and wouldn't record. So we had to go ahead and replace that, and that was replaced in the last week. So you'll see that on next month's uh, claims. So everything else is going well. Do you have any questions for me?
The policy that Beth went through, we see that next month probably for any adjustments that were made.
Yeah, that's on me. I have not, she's put in the time and energy and effort. I just haven't had the time and energy and effort going into reviewing it and making sure it's updated. But yes, soon we will have that. I'll have that for you.
This is getting into some of the financials, but, and I know that I've said this before, and maybe I've missed something, and I thought you addressed it, but that NIPSCO bill is crazy. We are almost at our budget already, and it's just June, and we only get, we have 15,000 budgeted for the whole year.
I did call and talk to them, and they assured me that
That's just what we owe.
it's, yeah.
There was no explanation.
The cost, for the summer was more, for the winter, that was higher, and I'm looking at the usage for this, like.
It's like a 400% increase.
Yeah.
From last year. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, you got colder days,
Yeah, but that's,
increased rates too.
but it's 50, supposed to, the increase is like 15%.
It's just crazy. We went from February was 2359 and March was 4,000.
Yeah.
And they,
April was 28, 21. I mean,
well, can we pay for an audit to make sure there is not a leak
yeah,
or something? I mean, this is enough of an increase that even if we have to pay 500 or $1,000 to have somebody come out to test.
So I've looked at the usage for like because it shows the 13 month, and they're comparable. So it doesn't look like a leak where we're using significantly more or anything outrageous.
Okay, so the rates have just gone up by like 300%.
I had to, because we're using the same amount
Yeah.
of gas, yeah.
I'm not finding any indicator. I even went to the IURC website. I noted that they were phasing in the things in last fall, and then they were going to do some more in March. I mean, it's time, if this is where we're going to be with this, that I know we need to look at some options, or do we need to get a skill gas tank out here? Or I don't know, maybe nobody else is bothered by this, but this is,
no, I'm.
that's gonna, well, that's gonna double, that's double.
Well, what options do you have though?
That's,
We bring, ask someone to go to come in and talk us through that rate change. Your,
I would love that.
So,
Surely there's somebody on staff that does public relations or something.
yeah, so I did call, and it was obvious a salesperson that I got and talked to, because they had a quick answer for everything, but they said that it's a utility, and this is what, it just, because the cost has gone up, and yeah, and it was winter, so they increased the cost in winter, and then with that other cost for natural gas in general has gone up, so that's the explanation I got.
Is it possible they could have somebody come here? We could
I
ask.
guess I can reach out.
Yeah, and what they have any other options? Is there any kind of different plans that maybe we could explore?
I mean, I have a NIPSCO line in my home and it's gone up, but it's nothing like this, nothing.
not for same usage.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that at my house too, and I didn't see anywhere near
Yeah.
this kind of rate increase
No.
at all. As a matter of fact, my March bill was significantly lower than February,
Oh, really?
I believe. I'll have to look at it. Maybe it was, I know March
4 times.
was cold
It
and
was
I
still here, but
chillier, yeah.
I mean, I was
But not-
upset about it enough to email Mike, so.
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page here. It is.
Yeah.
What we can actually do about it is a much different question.
Yeah.
Ask questions, that's it.
Is the library at a different rate than residential?
That's the only thing I could pick up is that where they were. But when our funds are being cut, this is not a good time for that to happen. Again, they,
Yeah, where those, where we come from.
Right.
Well, this room is pretty cool, just gonna say.
Yeah.
It's 71.
Yeah.
And it's keeps, that's where it's just stays at 71 throughout the building, so.
It was 74. I'm just saying,
yeah.
people bring a paper fan. You'll have a crap day on that.
Well, is the air conditioner part of what NIPSCO is doing, or is that electric?
That's electric.
Oh,
Yeah.
Should just be the heating. and the-
Yeah, it's be heating that. Yeah, so
The heating and maybe the hot water or
Say
something.
a hot water leak. I mean, two.
Yeah.
Two. But it's gonna be boiler a few years back.
Yeah, Mike, anything you can do, and you know what else would be helpful, if you don't mind? Maybe if you could check with any other libraries
see if they.
on NIPSCO to see, you know, that should be the whole northern third of the state.
Yeah.
And just see if anybody else is seeing the same thing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to harp on it, but
Oh, yeah.
as soon as I realized, oh, we're budgeted for $15,000 for the whole year, and we were already at 13.
Yeah.
Okay,
Every month, it's almost 4 times what it was.
Yeah,
it's kooky.
yeah.
Once you notice it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
I
I
was like,
know.
I was like,
I know.
it's gonna be
It's just-
worse.
Yeah, from Marco.
I agree.
Okay, sorry, Mike, you asked.
So any other questions? on
Sorry.
Lane? No, we're good.
Can we go back?
Yeah.
Okay, on First Fridays, I was down there for the last one, got many compliments on the May one where you guys handed out the seeds. Tons of compliments on that. Got 10 complaints last month because someone was wearing not neutral attire at the library table. So, one employee had on a pride headband. So, I don't know, in the dress policy,
You could say pride, or was it just a colorful hairband?
it was a rainbow hairband for Pride Month. So I'm just bringing this to the board as I was asked to. And I looked up the dress code. It says neutral.
Yeah.
It says not political. Well, that's not political.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing it up. So,
Thank you for bringing it up.
yeah.
All right. Any other questions on First Friday?
But they love the seeds.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Beautiful. Okay. Are we ready to move on to claims?
yes.
Okay.
Mike anticipated the question about the window washing. I'm liking those bullets that you're putting out there. Because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay.
On page 21, the second item down, 3.14. I just didn't know what the $10,000 other services, it was probably delineated somewhere else, but I didn't know where to look. I just didn't know where to look to find what it was.
I email you on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I could go through this file, but it's a big.
Yeah,
file.
let's not. Well, and we have a huge budget for whatever
Yeah.
those are, I just don't know what it
That's
is.
not the cleaning
I
service.
was gonna say, does our cleaning go with that?
What?
Does our cleaning go with that?
No, they have,
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a cleaning line, but that's supplies.
Right.
my guess is it's our visitors fees. So when we have, like, the people that came in today and yesterday, this guy can check some checks for them. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I will get specific
Yeah.
for that line.
Thanks.
What is the WC backbook, or the county backbook?
Yes. It's marketing and having an ad in it. And this will this may be the last year we do it because it is an expense and I asked the question in what of, my staff, when they were asked if they wanted me in it, I said, what's our return on investment on that? And
Yeah.
do people see that? Do we can bring people in and there's no real way to collect that. To
Right.
do it
Because we've generally done it.
Yeah, we got, so this will probably be the last year we do that one.
Do they provide some complimentary copies for distribution here? This would strike me as a very reasonable place to distribute that.
You know, I don't know, man.
Okay, because it's KPC Media, I believe, that
Yeah.
publishes the Post and Mail, and I know they used to distribute those with newspapers, but I know that they don't circulate the newspapers that much anymore. Because the fact book itself isn't bad. I mean, it is all the officers of the county officers and offices in town. It's valuable as paper.
Well, first one.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
It might be critical.
yes.
I think that's an excellent point. And that would be a return on investment for that, if we had those in the future.
Yeah.
So was that a motion?
Thank you, Eric. I will. Chris, did you have anything else on the claims?
No, I was just gonna ask again what our policy was. I forget whether how many years it was for outstanding checks.
Yeah, and I'm going to get that for you.
That was all I asked.
I will move to approve the claims as presented.
Great moves, and seconds.
Spencer, will second.
Spencer seconds, all in favor?
I
Any approved, or any opposed? Okay, it's approved.
She's so excited. She thinks she's gonna close this meeting in a half an hour. She just
Yeah, well,
kid at Christmas.
that's right. It's nice weather, I promise. That's, yeah, what we're trying to do. Anyway.
The library is figured prominently in their reviews. And there were piles and piles of little kids there to see it.
Good,
So,
good.
yeah.
Can I have one question?
Public
Just
address,
one.
we don't have any address though.
Okay.
One.
You have 2 minutes.
There we go. Okay, I just have a question on, when we vote and like the minutes of the meeting and how they're posted. It just says, as far as, the motion carried, it doesn't say, you know, usually we're all in agreement. Sometimes we're not. I know there was one time I voted nay on one item. But should we itemize that, or not itemize it, but individualize the vote? As maybe a roll call vote to know for record keeping or information on how we vote?
Personal opinion, that seems a little unnecessary and I.
If, as a board member, you can ask for that, to call the roll.
Yeah, and on any, you can do that vote by vote.
Any-
I wouldn't oppose that if you have a particular vote that you want to do it on.
Okay,
But to do it all of the time, I will tell you, is absolutely not standard with any
No,
okay,
order commission I've ever worked on, in part because it would be so cumbersome.
yes.
Okay.
We just need a majority.
And frankly, if one of
Okay.
us attends virtually and is voting, we have to do all of the, we're supposed to do all of them by roll call.
And I do think a roll call is appropriate for certain controversial votes that we have to take, and I think that's fine. But
okay.
But then,
Yeah, if there's ever one, especially if there's one that you want to be on the record opposing, say, could, you know, can I do a roll call? I should have done that with the trees last one.
Well, all of our meetings are
Write down in
recorded,
there,
so
right?
it's not like it's not.
No.
Yeah.
Because I drove by.
So-
That's a good question, though. That's a great question.
Okay, well, I was just curious.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
thank you.
just as a quick point of clarity, we are putting, the cleaning and other professional services.
Okay.
That's 36,000 a month, or a
Okay.
year, right there.
Well, yeah,
And then all the others.
sure. And is the tree scheduled to be cut down or who knows?
Well, the day after so a month ago, the day after I reached out, they said we'll be in within 2 weeks, and then we had all that rain and that
Yeah.
really got behind and stuff, so anytime now.
Exactly.
I expect to come in one day and it should be gone.
Or we have a storm and it's blown over.
Gray moves to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, I thought we already